Yang Yen looked at the dark green light emanating from the awakening stone and muttered to himself, I shouldn't have. As a traveler, why did I only awaken one magic department? Then Yang Yen directly took out a silver white glove and put it on his right hand. He then extended it forward, experiencing a spatial fluctuation, and his right hand went directly to another plane. Dopa plane. Naring, Armored Warrior Yeteris. Rampage Bug Emperor, Rampage Bug Virus, Xiaolan. Divine Fall, Jackie Chan Adventure. Nightbat Group Dark Shadow Energy Keywords of the novel. Full-Time Mage's Void Theft Gloves with no pop-ups, Full-Time Mage's Void Theft Gloves TXT Complete Collection Download, Full-Time Mage's Void Theft Gloves Latest Chapter Reading. Chapter 1. The Crosser Yang Yen. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. The Crosser Yang Yen, a full-time mage in a certain parallel plane, a full-time mage novice village, city, in Bucheng. It was drizzling lightly this day. Outside the school gate, there were parents holding umbrellas, their faces soaked in rain filled with expectations. Today is the last day of the graduation assessment for the 9-year compulsory teaching of magic. This is a major event for their children's education. Whether they can attend Tianlan Magic High School or be admitted to a good university in the future depends on their child's performance today. Osmanthus flowers were splashed by rainwater on the straight roads of the campus. After the bell rang, students rushed out, either walking alone or searching for their friends, discussing today's exam content. At this moment, a handsome student named Yang Yen left the school feeling a bit depressed, holding an umbrella. Yang Yan's frustration was not due to his poor performance in the exam. On the contrary, there is no problem for Yang Yen to be admitted to Tianlan Magic High School. Yang Yen was frustrated that his golden finger had not yet arrived. Yang Yen is a traveler from a scientific world. Of course, that scientific world is not the same as the scientific plane where Mo Fan was before. Yang Yen was a college student approaching his internship and also a fan of online literature, often staying up all night reading novels. As for the cause of death, Yang Yen remembers that he seemed to have been hit and killed by a car at school while attending a class in the classroom. Hey, school driving kills people. And in this lifetime, Yang Yen was an orphan. A year ago, his parents sacrificed their lives and left him with a 3-story building and hundreds of thousands of savings. Well, Yang Yen was stimulated to decipher the mystery of reincarnation and awaken his past life memories after his parents sacrificed their lives. Speaking of which, this configuration is already very good among ordinary people. If Yang Yen is willing to be an ordinary person, he can still make a living. After awakening his memory, Yang Yen knew the world he was in. Through memory, Yang Yen knew that in this world, human life is just a number, and outside the city, it is basically a territory of demons. Even being in a city does not necessarily mean 100% safety. From the Blood Red Alert 3 years after the original work, even cities with high-level mages stationed in them can be destroyed at any time. In addition, in the later stages, high-level mages are just cannon fodder. For those who know the harsh reality of the world, it is extremely despairing. Since then, Yang Yen has been working hard to study, striving to be admitted to Magic High School without any accidents, awakening magic, and striving to have the power to protect himself. Perhaps due to the personality of the second son, Yang Yen found that his memory was stronger than in his previous life by more than one level. In addition, his foundation before awakening his memory was also good. Now, his grades have always been among the top in his grade, and he is still stable in getting into Tianlan Magic High School. In fact, Yang Yen also thought about spending some money to awaken magic in the Magic Association. Unfortunately, the Magic Association has regulations that prohibit people from going to the Magic Association to awaken magic before the age of 15 or entering high school. As for the reason, awakening magic has certain requirements for the strength of a person's soul. If the soul's strength does not meet the standard, it can result in mild awakening failure, severe soul damage, cutting off the path of cultivation, becoming a mentally ill idiot, or directly dying. Although Yang Yen was confident at the time that his soul strength was not inferior to those 15-year-old people, could this be said? Although the Magic Association may not care about this, there are many wizards in this world who like to eliminate demons. Of course, a 14-year-old person has a soul strength that is not inferior to that of a 15-year-old, but it is not very outstanding, at most it is just a small talent. And Yang Yan's birthday is in November, so it's better to wake up after his birthday and get into Magic High School to wake up magic. After all, Magic High School wakes up magic in September. As for going to the Magic Association to awaken magic after entering high school, this pure brain has its flaws. After all, the school is responsible for awakening magic to students after the start of Magic High School. Isn't it pure people who don't wake up in Magic High School but instead go to the Magic Association to wake up? Hey, it's safe for me to get into Tianlan Magic High School with my grades. It's September 1st when I will awaken my magic. Why hasn't my golden finger come yet? It shouldn't be. The matter of time travel exists, how can time travelers not have golden fingers? Yang Yen pondered in his heart. However, there are indeed quite a few walkers without golden fingers. I'm probably the unlucky type of walker without golden fingers. However, according to the laws of the underworld, when I awaken magic, there is a high possibility that I will awaken golden fingers. Speaking of which, having no golden fingers is nothing, as long as my talent and luck are not too bad. As a traveler with original memories, I can never do too poorly. At this moment, Yang Yen saw Mo Fan, the middle-aged man, talking about something. As expected, the middle-aged man was Mo Fan's father, Mo Jiaxing. Speaking of which, Mo Jiaxing was also a legendary figure in the original work, which highlighted the existence of the Dark King Wen Tai. According to the memory of the original work, Yang Yen knew that at this time, Mo Fan and Mo Jiaxing were talking about poor grades and going to Magic High School. Without any accidents, Mo Jiaxing should kneel down and beg Mu He. Upon seeing this scene, Yang Yen sighed and pondered in his heart, this Mo Fan must have traveled to this world 2 months ago. More precisely, the soul fusion of the technology plane Mo Fan covered the soul of this magic plane Mo Fan. Unfortunately, we didn't meet before. According to previous life netizen speculation, Mo Fan's ability to awaken 2 magic series each time he awakens is because he has 2 souls, 1 technology plane and 1 magic plane. Although it is unclear whether this is the case, Mo Fan can't run away with each awakening of 2 magic series. As a traveler, I don't know how many magic spells I will awaken each time. Is it 1 or 2? Or is it like those outrageous fan fiction novels that awaken 3 or 4 magic spells? Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was September 1st. September 1st is the standard start time for school. The opening day of school is an extremely important day for all magic students, as it not only relates to the most important step for all students to enter the wizarding profession, but also to which department of wizarding they will become. Awakening, as the name suggests, is to awaken the potential power of the body. On this day, Yang Yen walked into the school with a somewhat excited expression. He was assigned to class 18 of grade 1, and his student ID was number 1. For Yang Yen, there were no surprises when he was admitted to Tianlan Magic High School. As for why we are in the same class as the protagonist, it may be influenced by the law of time travelers or some mysterious will. As for the first Mu Bai in the original work, now Mu Bai is the second in class 8. Then the other students in this class, except for Mo Fan who is the 48th, should all have followed in order. As for whether the original 47th student union did not get into Magic High School, it's none of Yang Yan's business. In fact, theoretically speaking, Mu Bai is likely to become the number 1 in other classes, and I don't know why he stayed in class 8. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Toxic Series. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Toxic Series. Classmates, welcome to school. I believe many of you are waiting for this exciting moment today. Before that, I have a lot to say to everyone. On the big magic playground, 1,500 new students in the school were divided into more than 30 classes to form a neat square formation, which looked incredibly spectacular. Classmates, do you know what becoming a wizard is for? Don't forget, no matter where you are in the wizard's position. Principal Zhu had a long and lengthy conversation, and finally reached what everyone wanted to hear the most. Okay, awakening begins today. I hope you can become the future rising magic stars. As soon as Principal Zhu finished speaking, the students on the playground couldn't contain their inner joy. Even Yang Yan's face was filled with excitement and joy. Magic, I am finally about to awaken magic. Although Yang Yan had long fantasized about this day, he couldn't help but get excited. Awakening is carried out simultaneously in more than 30 classes. Yang Yan is number 1, and he will be the first in Class 8 to awaken magic. The homeroom teacher of Class 8, Shui Mushing, has already stood at the forefront of the class. The awakening will take place in public, and what students need to do is to step forward when their names are called out, place their hands on the awakening stone in front of the magic master, and quietly sense. At the same time, Mu Bai's henchman Zhao Kunsen mocked Mo Fan as usual, and Mo Fan's loyal younger brother Zhang Xiaoho stood up to tear him apart. A group of students from Longtao also began to chatter about what certain famous figures would awaken to. Yang Yan. At this moment, the homeroom teacher Shui Mushing shouted. Upon hearing the homeroom teacher's shout, Yang Yan took a deep breath and walked to the awakening stone next to the homeroom teacher. Ah, he's Yang Yan. He looks pretty good, but his grades are even better than Mu Bai's. Yes, I saw him early this morning. I don't know what genre he will awaken to. It's probably not the early abandoned genre of water or light, right? After all, his grades are so good. At this moment, a few students in the class suddenly started talking quietly. However, Mu Bai's expression was slightly unsightly. He was actually compared with others, but unfortunately, his grades were really a little worse than Yang Yan's. Yang Yan, I have read your profile and your parents were both beginner mages. It shouldn't be surprising for you to awaken to the magic department, said homeroom teacher Shui Mushing. Upon hearing Shui Mushing's words, Yang Yan didn't say anything. His parents were indeed beginner-level mages before his death, but unfortunately, they all had accidents. With the permission of the homeroom teacher, Yang Yan slowly placed his hands on the suspended awakening stone. The awakening stone appears in the shape of a thick star compass, with a clear palm print. Yang Yan nervously places his hand on the awakening stone. I don't have a golden finger. Whether I can establish myself in this world depends entirely on my talent. I hope my first department won't be a light department that is difficult to grow without support in the early stages. Also, as a time traveler, how many magic series will I awaken when I awaken magic? Can I awaken 2 at once like Mo Fan? I am the first one in Class 8 to awaken, which is very eye-catching. If I awaken more than one magic department, will I be targeted by others? At the moment when Yang Yan placed his hand on the awakening stone, he felt like he had entered a void, a pitch-black space. This void space is the spiritual world. To put it bluntly, when a person in the so-called spiritual world closes their eyes, their mind will appear empty. Normal people will constantly imagine in the void, appearing like movie clips with blurry images. When their mind is completely empty and they don't think about anything, their mind is a void, like a night sky without stars. At this moment, Yang Yan suddenly saw a dark green light shining in a corner of his spiritual world. In this radiance, Yang Yan saw a dark green starry dust, in which he faintly saw 7 dark green stars. Dark green. Is this a poison type? Yang Yan muttered unexpectedly at this moment. At first, Yang Yan thought he would awaken elemental magic. After all, the probability of using the Awakening Stone Gang to awaken elemental magic in Magic High School was relatively higher, more than 1 level higher than the probability of awakening other magic. Subsequently, Yang Yen turned his gaze to other parts of the spiritual world, hoping for the emergence of a second magic series. Unfortunately, after a while, Yang Yen still did not notice any signs of a second magic series appearing in his spiritual world. Hey, it seems that I can only awaken one magic level at a time, but the first level of awakening poison level is also good. Based on my understanding, mid-level poison level magic can contract some bugs. I remember there are many special bugs in this world, such as scale demon soldiers, parasites and jellyfish maggots. If not, if you become stronger in the future, you can go to the Zerg Demon Empire to see. The original work Mu Bai's Poison series also contracted a bug lord, monarch level bug, and I can't be worse than him. At this moment, Yang Yen suddenly felt something and looked at him in one direction, then he was stunned for a moment and said, "Is this a glove?" Externally, at this moment, everyone saw that Yang Yan's awakening stone suddenly began to emit a dark green light, and at the same time, a faint mist of dark green appeared around the awakening stone. Several classmates who were close felt a bit permeated. Dark green. This is a poison type. Oh my goodness, someone has awakened the poison type, exclaimed a knowledgeable student at this moment. Upon hearing the student's exclamation, the students present immediately became boiling. Poison type. If a class's students can only awaken one or two fire series, and only one thunder series is possible in one grade, then the probability of black magic like poison series awakening in the early stage is several times or even dozens of times lower than thunder series. Poison type, I haven't heard of any mages from the poison type at Tianlan Magic High School in the past few decades. That's because you have limited knowledge. Across the country, there are many mages who awaken black and white magic. I feel so nauseous about the poison system. Also, I feel a bit nauseous, shouldn't I be poisoned? Cut, I haven't seen anything. Poison mages are very suitable for becoming pharmacists. I heard that some precious potions cost tens of millions. Also, if you're not poisoned, it's your psychological effect. Oh my. At this moment, as the students discussed, the homeroom teacher Xue Mushing couldn't help but laugh. Although the poison department wasn't very popular, it was rare. Students don't understand, can we still not understand ourselves? This time we have developed ourselves. At the same time, other teachers and Principal Zhu were also attracted to the drug department. Surprisingly, there are still people in our school who can awaken the drug department. At this moment, Yang Yen also opened his eyes, then withdrew his right hand, and the awakening stone returned to its original shape. Very good, Yang Yen, you have awakened to a very rare poison type. In the future, you will definitely become a powerful magician. I hope you will not forget your original intention and will not be influenced by the magic type to take the wrong path. Xue Mushing smiled and said to Yang Yen at this moment. Later, Xue Mushing said, Yang Yen, please go back. The next Mu Bai, come awaken the magic. Then Yang Yen returned to the team under the gaze of a group of students and teachers, and Mu Bai walked towards the awakening stone. Unfortunately, compared to the original work, there are fewer people following Mu Bai this time, but, he's Mu Bai. He looks really handsome and doesn't look much worse than Yang Yen, but his grades are not as good as Yang Yan's. Yes, I saw him early this morning. I really like him, I don't know what kind of faction he will awaken. Mu Bai is from the Mu family, so he should awaken the Ice faction, but unfortunately, the Ice faction seems to be inferior to the Poison faction. What are you talking about? Compared to the Poison type that infiltrates people, isn't Ice type not handsome? I heard that Ice type magic is very handsome. As soon as Mu Bai stood up, he immediately heard several girls chattering in the class, which also attracted some flower enthusiasts from other classes to look at him frequently. Next, Mu Bai unexpectedly awakened the Ice series amidst the screams of a group of girls. When Mu Bai awakened, some cold air appeared around the awakening stone, and some frost appeared on the ground. It can be seen from this that Mu Bai's Ice-type talent is still very good. Next, Qiu Yueying. As soon as the class teacher finished speaking, a girl with a hint of heroism on her face walked out. Okay, too sure, your Stardust has started well, it seems to be inseparable from your previous efforts. Next, Su Qinglin. It's also an ice system. Next, Zhang Xiaoho. At this moment, Zhang Xiaoho, who looked like a mud monkey, walked towards the awakening stone. Yang Yen looked at Zhang Xiaoho and muttered to himself, Zhang Xiaoho has also developed well in the original work and is quite loyal. Speaking of which, before awakening my past life memories, I was quite isolated and didn't even have a friend. While Yang Yen was pondering, Zhang Xiaoho's successful words awakened the wind system. Yang Yen saw the awakening stone in Zhang Xiaoho's hand emitting a blue light, while a wind vortex appeared within the awakening stone. Next. Puff, on the awakening stone, an orange flame suddenly burst forth. This scene made the whole class's eyes widen at once. Fire. Fire system. Damn it, she's still a girl. What's her name? For a moment, the awakened girl became the focus of the whole class, and the Fire series was considered the most outstanding element series except for the Thunder series. It was the first choice for all mage-level mages to awaken. After all, the probability of Thunder series awakening was too low. If they could choose, unfortunately, the probability of Fire awakening is also a bit low, with only 1 or 2 at most in a class, and the probability is less than 1 in 10. Of course, for ordinary people, and for some wealthy individuals, awakening to the Fire system is just a matter of whether or not they want it, and luck only affects a small percentage of the chances. Her name is Zhou Min, she seems to be the daughter of one of our teachers, someone whispered. She's still very beautiful. Hurry up and get to know her. Be careful then. Zhou Min seems very quiet and well behaved this week, but she is actually a violent maniac. Otherwise, how could a girl awaken to the fire element? Reasonable, reasonable. It can be considered as a female from her mother's profession. If teacher Wenhua knew about it, she would be very pleased, said the homeroom teacher Xue Musheng. Thank you, teacher. Next. Wind system, next. Soon, the whole class was about to wake up, and class 8 also fell on the 48th, which was Mo Fan. Number 48, Mo Fan. At this moment, Yang Yen suddenly heard someone mocking Mo Fan, saying, "You just came in by smashing pots and selling iron. Don't hold on to any hope. If you're lucky, get a water or light system. If you don't reach the mid-level mage level, you'll be defeated. If you're unlucky, you'll fail to awaken. TSK TSK TSK, just accompany everything." Upon hearing this, Yang Yen couldn't help but sigh in his heart, truly deserving of being the original protagonist. Wherever people go, they are mocked and looked down upon. Quickly, Yang Yen saw Mo Fan nervously take a step forward, pass through the crowd, and walk towards the awakening stone. That's him, it seems like he came in through the back door. Who is this? He looks quite handsome, a cute little girl asked. A very scumbag student, I used to be in his neighboring class, said another girl with a big mushroom head and mouth. Well, then the awakening may be very poor. Whether we can awaken success or not is still a question. I said, those light and water systems, don't lose heart. Wait until you see the awakening of this student Mo Fan, you will be very pleased. This guy has a single-digit exam, and his foundation is extremely poor. The awakening is likely to fail. At this moment, Zhao Kunsen laughed loudly. When he said this, those light and water systems really brightened their eyes. If someone's strange awakening failed, it would be really reassuring. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Void Theft Gloves. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Void Theft Gloves. Seeing this scene, Yang Yen couldn't help feeling a bit speechless. To be honest, there is no relationship between academic performance and awakening magic. The so-called good grades and awakening magic are simply lies that encourage students to learn. Then Yang Yen saw Mo Fan walking to the side of the awakening stone under Shui Muxing's instructions, and then trembling his hands on the awakening stone. In theory, the next step should be the protagonist pretending to be forced to face each other, but unfortunately, oh my goodness, someone in the neighboring class has awakened the Thunder series. On the playground, I suddenly heard a student exclaiming and shouting. What? Is there a Thunder type? I'll go, it's good luck after several lifetimes of cultivation. Where, wow, it's so cool purple. The homeroom teacher of class 7 probably was taken aback. Woo, kill me. Why am I from the water system? Why didn't you give me the Thunder system? Don't stop me, I'm going to the rooftop. Don't make a fuss, you can't jump to death. There's a light-colored corpse lying underneath. This lay student is going to explode the rhythm of the entire venue. With the release of the lay series, it was a complete sensation. Even more sensational than when Yang Yen awakened the poison department, all the teachers and students present turned their gaze to the awakening Thunder department student in class 7, even Yang Yen couldn't help but look at that person. I saw the student from class 7 wearing purple clothes, and the awakening stone in his hand emitted a purple light and faint purple lightning arcs. For a moment, this confident and aloof man became the focus of thousands of people, causing a stir in the whole school. At this moment, Yang Yen suddenly regained his wit and looked around. Then Yang Yen saw that all the teachers and students present, except for himself and Mo Fan, were looking at the awakened student of the Thunder department, which was Su Zhaoting. Yang Yen looked towards Mo Fan and saw that the awakening stone in Mo Fan's hand was emitting a purple light, and at the same time, a faint arc was jumping on it. Yang Yen felt a bit surprised when he saw this scene. He pondered in his heart, what happened just now? I was clearly following Mo Fan, but how could I suddenly be attracted by Su Zhaoting's awakening of the Thunder clan? At this moment, oh, why is it so noisy? Mo Fan slowly opened his eyes, and all the joy on his face was written on it. Then Mo Fan saw the scene where all the teachers and students in the school, except for Yang Yen, were looking at the next class. What is the situation? Where are you all looking? Then Mo Fan quickly understood what was happening and looked at the purple lightning arc jumping on the awakening stone with a bitter expression on his face. He really wished he could slap his homeroom teacher and tell him that he envied the next class for their hair. I was also crazy about pulling cool and explosive lightning. That classmate still has enough loyalty. Speaking of which, this student looks so familiar. It seems like he awakened to the poison department just now. At this moment, the awakening stone in Mo Fan's hand emitted a light that changed from purple to fiery red, and at the same time began to emit a fiery energy. Within the awakening stone, a flame appeared. Then Yang Yen saw Mo Fan's expression of being knocked unconscious by happiness. Seeing this scene, Yang Yen couldn't help but feel a hint of envy in his heart. The two factions were twice as much as himself. Fortunately, it seems like my golden finger has arrived. Wow, it's a fire type. Oh no, our class has added another fire element. Who said he would awaken and fail? It's actually a fire type, so enviable. After the storm caused by the Thunder series gradually subsided, everyone finally discovered that Mo Fan had awakened the fire series. The girl named Zhou Min, who had previously awakened to the fire system, appeared somewhat surprised. She took a closer look at Mo Fan and found that there was indeed a flame on his awakening stone, which felt even more vigorous than her own. At this moment, Shui Muxing also looked surprised and said to Mo Fan, not bad, what's your name? Oh, Mo Fan, right. Mo Fan nodded and carefully withdrew his hands placed on the awakening stone. The awakening stone is precious. I heard I can't even buy it if I want to. If something unexpected happens, I will definitely be discouraged. Fire students, we must work hard in the future. If you have any questions, feel free to ask the teacher. Class teacher Shui Mushing patted Mo Fan's shoulder and said with great satisfaction. At the same time, Yang Yen noticed that Mu Bai's mouth was constantly twitching next to him. Obviously, Mu Bai had been hit hard today. First, a student who was better at learning awakened a rare poison type, then someone awakened a thunder type, and then someone he had been looking down on awakened a fire type. Later, Mo Fan walked towards the team and blinked at Yang Yen as he passed by. At the same time, he gave Mu Bai a middle finger, which appeared to be in one go, just like greeting without any sense of discord. The students who quickly awakened to magic returned to various classes under the arrangement of the school. In the classroom of Class 8. After everyone sat down, the homeroom teacher Shui Mushing said to them, "All right, everyone is seated. I'm glad everyone has successfully awakened the magic, and no one in our class has been discouraged. But don't be too happy too early. You will have an assessment at the end of next semester, and students with poor grades will also be discouraged. So you need to work hard." Next, Shui Mushing arranged for students to distribute textbooks and attend the first and most important lesson of Magic High School. The release of magic. Because this class is very important, even if Yang Yen had learned about it in advance, he listened very attentively. After all, there should be no mistakes in the cultivation process. After class, Mo Fan ran directly to Yang Yen and said, "Yang Yen, right? I awakened fire magic today, right?" At this moment, Mo Fan spoke while making eye contact with Yang Yen, clearly intending to make Yang Yen conceal his awakening of the Lei clan. At this moment, Mo Fan was completely unaware that his behavior had caught the attention of the whole class on him and Yang Yen. Yang Yen nodded silently in response. "Ah, yes, you have awakened your fire system. Don't waste your talent, practice your fire system well." After hearing Yang Yan's response, Mo Fan breathed a sigh of relief and directly placed his hand on Yang Yan's shoulder, laughing and saying, "Brother, that's enough. I'll treat you to the cafeteria for lunch today." Yang Yen was a bit speechless when he heard Mo Fan's words. How could anyone invite someone to the school cafeteria for a meal? However, Yang Yen also had the idea of making friends with Mo Fan and Zhang Xiaoho, so he did not refuse. As for how Mo Fan and Yang Yen had a meal with Zhang Xiaoho, nonsense. Now that Mo Fan is treating guests to dinner, Zhang Xiaoho, this little servant, can run away. At this moment, Zhao Kunsen walked over with some envy and said, "Cut, isn't it just a fire system? As for repeatedly mentioning this matter, isn't it?" Upon hearing Zhao Kunsen's words, Mo Fan said shamelessly, "Oh my talent is outstanding. I have awakened the fire type, and I am also very helpless." At the noon cafeteria, Yang Yen, Mo Fan, and Zhang Xiaoho sat around a table, where 3 portions of rice and several dishes were placed, including meat and vegetables. Zhang Xiaoho said somewhat speechless, "Brother Fan, it's just your treat to eat in the school cafeteria. Why did you just order these things?" Yang Yen was also a bit speechless at this moment, although the food on the table was quite good. At this moment, Mo Fan said without any embarrassment, "Today is the first day of school, and the school doesn't allow students to go out yet. I'll treat you to eat these already." "No, I can't wait until tomorrow when the school doesn't restrict students from going out. I'll take you to eat crayfish." "Alright, these dishes are already very good. I usually handle my meals casually," Yang Yen said casually at this moment. Mo Fan said with a look of agreement, "Yang Yen still means enough to eat." In the evening, Yang Yen returned to his own dormitory and closed the doors and windows, sitting on the bed. That's right, Yang Yen is the only one in this dormitory. In fact, Yang Yen and several other classmates originally shared a dormitory, but the school arranged a dormitory specifically for Yang Yen to take care of him and prevent him from affecting other students during his cultivation in the future. After all, Yang Yan's magic department is a poison department. If it affects other students, it would be bad, such as practicing and poisoning other students to faint. After a moment, Yang Yanpan sat on the bed and consciousness entered the spiritual world. Quickly, Yang Yan realized that he had entered the spiritual space. Upon arriving in the spiritual space, Yang Yan looked at his poisonous stardust and sighed, realizing that he only had one magic department. Then Yang Yan looked in one direction and saw a glove suspended in that direction. This glove is only one, it looks like it's worn on the right hand. This glove is silver white all over, appearing to be woven with some kind of silver white silk thread. Yang Yan's consciousness approached the glove, and suddenly the glove sent a message to Yang Yan. According to the information, this silver white right-hand glove is called the Void Theft Glove and its origin is unknown. The function of the Void Theft Glove is very simple, which is to allow the right hand wearing the Void Theft Glove to shuttle through the void and the plane. The Void Theft Glove can protect Yang Yan's right hand from the influence of space and damage from another plane. And then it's easy. You've already passed your hand, don't you bring anything back. As for how much can be brought back, it depends on Yang Yan's performance. Unfortunately, after using the Void Theft Gloves once, it takes 1 year to recover energy, which is a 1-year cooling period. Yang Yan looked at the void-stealing gloves and pondered for a moment, then his consciousness returned to his body. After Yang Yan opened his eyes, he reached out his right hand and felt in his heart that the Void Theft Glove appeared on Yang Yan's right hand out of thin air. Not to mention, it fits quite well. Looking at his right hand wearing gloves, Yang Yan pondered in his heart, stealing gloves from the void is stealing things from other planes. I have also read some novels with similar plots in my past life. But why can I only use my golden finger once a year? And where did this Void Theft Glove come from? It seems like I haven't encountered anything similar in my past life. Did I bring it with me while crossing over? But it's better to have something than nothing. I hope the things I stole for the first time have been helpful to me. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Naring and Space Systems. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Naring and Space Systems. Thinking of this, Yang Yan extended his right hand forward, and then the space in front of him that Yang Yan saw began to fluctuate, while his gloved right hand plunged directly into the space. It looks like Yang Yan doesn't have a right hand, but he can still feel his right hand. Quickly, amidst Yang Yan's surprised expression, a scene emerged in the fluctuating space ahead. The scene shows a cave, where a young man in black is sitting cross-legged on a stone, and a middle-aged and elderly person with a slightly transparent body is suspended in front of him. There is a blue lotus platform floating next to the youth, and within the platform is a strand of blue flames. In front of the young man was a jade bottle, a jade box containing jade bottles, and a small stone emitting gray light. Seeing this scene, Yang Yan suddenly thought of something. This is Xiao Yan and Yao Lao. The flame on the green lotus platform is the Qinglian Earth Heart Fire. Xiao Yan is preparing to refine the Qinglian Earth Heart Fire. Then Yang Yan saw on the screen that his right hand was wearing gloves. At this moment, my right hand, wearing the Void Theft Glove, was suspended in the air, while the area connecting my right hand and arm showed a silver-white glow. In the picture, Xiao Yan and Yao Lao were stunned by the sudden appearance of their right hand, and then suddenly became alert. Seeing this scene, Yang Yan was also a bit stunned. Can Xiao Yan and Yao Lao see the right hand wearing the Void Theft Glove? My own golden fingers don't seem to be very good. Subsequently, Yang Yan controlled his right hand to move a few times, and in the picture, his right hand was hovering while controlling the movement of his fingers. And when Yao Lao and Xiao Yan saw this scene, their faces couldn't help but change. With a fierce wave of his hand, a dense white flame appeared out of thin air and rushed towards Yang Yan's right hand. However, Yang Yan's right hand, wearing the Void Theft Glove in the air, seemed to be non-existent. He had no reaction to the flames of Yao Lao, and Yao Lao's flames did not touch his right hand, as if the two were not in the same space. At this moment, Yang Yan suddenly regained his senses and stared at what appeared on the screen. After a moment of contemplation, he controlled his right hand to rush towards the small stone emitting gray light in the picture. Under the gaze of Yang Yan and Xiao Yan Yao Lao in the picture, his right hand flew fiercely over the small stone emitting a gray light and grabbed it. Then a transparent bubble suddenly appeared, covering his right hand and the small stone wearing the void theft glove. Seeing this scene, Yang Yan felt that he had gained something, and without much thought, he directly pulled his right hand, wearing the void theft gloves, out of the scene in front of him. After his right hand came out, Yang Yan saw that the bubble that had originally wrapped his right hand and the gray small stone was now only wrapped around this gray small stone. This small stone is the size of a thumb, completely gray in color, smooth as jade, and looks flawless. There was a faint blue light wriggling slowly in the stone heart, like a small insect with vitality. This small stone is Naring. At the same time, Yang Yan saw the spatial fluctuations in front of him disappear, and the scene also disappeared. However, before the screen disappeared, Yang Yan saw Xiao Yan and Yao Lao moaning in pain. Yang Yan couldn't help but mutter in his heart, "I'm sorry, I borrowed this item, and if there is a chance in the future, I will compensate him. Don't worry about what Xiao Yan did after stealing Xiao Yan's spirit. At most, when Yang Yan grows up, give him a compensation gift package during his travels." After seeing that he had indeed stolen something, Yang Yan also breathed a sigh of relief. No, my mind was twitching just now. I could have grabbed this Naring with 2 fingers and then grabbed a few other things, such as that jade bottle. Yang Yan, who suddenly regained his senses, felt a bit depressed. Forget it, don't be too greedy as a person, pay attention next time. Yang Yan looked at the small stone emitting a gray light in the bubble and pondered, except for Xiao Yan and Yao Lao, the only valuable things in the picture are the blue lotus platform, the green lotus earth heart fire, the elixir in the jade bottle, the ice spirit cold spring in the jade box, and the Naring that I stole. Among them, the blue lotus terrace and the green lotus earth heart fire are integrated, and I can't use them even if I bring them over. After all, I don't have a method to refine any special fire, and I don't even have fire attributes. It's a pity. Although Qinglian Earth's heart fire is not outstanding among the other fires, in this world, Qinglian Earth's heart fire is not only a heavenly seed, but also a great soul seed. Ice Spirit Cold Spring should also be a natural treasure with ice attributes in this world. Perhaps it is useful for some ice mages and some mages who have been burned by flames, but I cannot use it either. I forgot the name of the elixir in the jade bottle, but it's used to assist in refining abnormal fire, and I can't use it either. So it seems that this spirit is the most suitable for me. Well, I remember that nailing seems to be a kind of essence of nashi, which can make people open a small space in their bodies, and that small space can be used to carry strange fire. Although I haven't practiced Duki, nailing should be useful to me. Although I don't have anything like abnormal fire, the nailing rings made of nashi can store items, so the small space opened by nailing should also be used to store items. Of course, the prerequisite for all of this is that I can integrate Naring. Thinking of this, Yang Yan's mind moved, and the void theft glove he was wearing in his right hand returned to his spiritual space. The bubble that wrapped nailing was still in Yang Yan's right hand. Looking at the nailing in the bubble, Yang Yan pondered, how can this nailing merge? During the battle, it seems that the medicine elder directly slapped the nailing into Xiao Yan's body. How about giving it a try? Thinking of this, Yang Yan grabbed the bubble in front of him with his right hand and directly patted it towards his chest. Then, as Yang Yan had imagined, the bubble disappeared immediately upon touching Yang Yan's chest, and Naring transformed into a gray light that penetrated into Yang Yan's body. Seeing Naling disappear, Yang Yan felt his body and suddenly felt something strong as he returned to bed and sat up, while his mind was focused on the spiritual space. At this moment, in Yang Yan's spiritual space, he saw a silver-gray star dust growing beneath his dark-green poisonous star dust. Within this silver-gray star dust, 7 silver-gray stars were drifting in disorder. However, It is worth noting that the silver-gray dust and dark green toxic dust are completely parallel, and the center points of the two dust particles seem to be on the same vertical line as the two parallel lines. I have an additional magic department. After merging with Naring, I surprisingly awakened an additional magic department without following the awakening rules. What's going on? Yang Yan's consciousness was shocked at this moment. What is this magic series? Naring is a spatial attribute, so this magic series should be a spatial series. But isn't the spatial series silver-white? Is this space series silver-gray because of Naring? After all, Naring is gray. And what's going on with the distribution of space and poison systems? I remember the book said that multiple magic systems are randomly distributed, just not in contact with each other. How come these two magic systems are parallel? Not long after, Yang Yan's mood slightly calmed down. Compared to having gold fingers and awakening magic, having an additional space element doesn't seem to be very important. Yang Yan opened his eyes and looked at the wall across from him, thinking to himself, now I have two departments, but it's better to specialize in one magic department in the early stages. After all, I don't have much resources. It's easier for me to cultivate when I specialize in one magic department. This way, after dividing the cultivation time equally, neither department can cultivate. I am currently displaying a poison type to the public, so I definitely need to cultivate the poison type first. For the space type, I can meditate for a while every day. After I cultivate the poison type to the third level or break through the middle level, I can then cultivate the space type. After all, if a mage breaks through the intermediate level and then cultivates the beginner level magic series, their cultivation speed will be much faster than that of the beginner level mage. After making a decision, Yang Yan recalled the content taught by the teacher today and began to close his eyes and meditate. According to textbook records and teacher lectures, magic release is divided into 3 steps. Firstly, meditation. Secondly, control. Thirdly, release. Mingxiu is a part that every magician must go through. Mingxiu refers to being fully focused on sensing the stars and absorbing the free magic energy in the air, in order to strengthen one's own stars and dust. When a person closes their eyes, their brain is actually constantly imagining various images. But if you don't think about anything and are not disturbed, your mind is empty. After the wizard awakens, a corresponding series of stardust will appear in the wizard's spiritual world. That is to say, as long as Yang Yan closes his eyes and doesn't daydream about anything, leaving his mind as empty as a black universe, he will see a dark green poisonous stardust. Of course, now Yang Yan will also see a silver-gray space system of stardust. In the stardust of each magician, there are 7 stars doing irregular movements in the entire small stardust, like 7 mischievous disobedient children running around with full energy. And what the mage needs to do is to be able to sense the stardust at any time when they want, and at the same time, inject the wandering magic energy into the stardust to strengthen the stardust and stardust. For any awakened magic student, as long as they can grow the magic stardust to a certain extent and project the stars from the outside world, even if they have completed the meditation, they can try to control it. Relatively speaking, this first step is really simple, and this meditation is a daily assignment for all magic students. To become a powerful mage, daily meditation is essential. According to Shui Musheng, the time for beginner mages to meditate varies depending on their talents. Generally, each beginner mage can meditate for about 3 to 5 hours per day. The statement that the meditation time is less than 3 hours indicates that the mage's mental strength is not strong, and their future achievements may be limited. And the fact that there are more than 5 hours of meditation time is naturally due to innate talent and strong mental intensity. As Yang Yan closed his eyes, his mind returned to the spiritual world. Soon, Yang Yan saw his poisonous and spatial stardust. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Synchronous Talent of the Legal System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Synchronous talent of the legal system. As Yang Yen closed his eyes, his mind returned to the spiritual world. Soon, Yang Yen saw his poisonous and spatial stardust. Subsequently, Yang Yen began to focus his attention on the poisonous stardust and began to sense the magical energy around his body. Perhaps Yang Yan's talent was good, and soon he sensed the scattered dark green dots and some colorless transparent dots around him. These dark green dots were the poison-type magical powers that Yang Yen needed, and the colorless transparent dots were universal magical powers suitable for any magic type. At this point, what Yang Yen needs to do is to pull these magical powers into his own poisonous stardust, in order to strengthen his Stardust Star Sun. Unfortunately, it is possible that Yang Yen only started practicing in the dark today, or it could be due to the scarcity of poisonous magic energy nearby. Yang Yen felt that the poisonous magic energy he was pulling was very rare, and the magic energy he was pulling was mainly colorless and transparent universal magic energy. As a trace of magic energy was pulled into the belly dust by Yang Yen, the poison star dust and 7 poison star suns were constantly absorbing magic energy to strengthen themselves. Not long after, Yang Yen stopped when he felt a bit mentally exhausted, and then he opened his eyes exhausted and lay in bed. After a moment, Yang Yen stood up and walked to the window to look outside. It was already late at night, and it could be seen that Yang Yen had been practicing in the dark for the first time for quite some time. Half a month passed quickly. During this half-month, Yang Yen only did one thing, Mingxiu. I started practicing meditation from dinner until I was exhausted and went to sleep. Perhaps due to differences in the world, schools in the magical realm have very relaxed curriculum arrangements for students, even more so than previous universities. Basically, there are not many classes per week, and the rest of the time is reserved for students. At the same time, other aspects of management are also very easy, and students can also practice at home if they are willing. In fact, it is not impossible to understand. After all, the cultivation of mages is mainly based on meditation, and some cultural knowledge is not very important, as long as there is some understanding. Unlike other students, Yang Yen is an orphan and there are not many people in his family, so he naturally doesn't have much desire to go home. At the same time, considering that he can usually live in school and the house is always empty, and that he will leave Buqing to study in another city in 3 years, and there is a high possibility that Buqing will still experience a red alert in 3 years, Yang Yen has sold the house in the past half-month. During this half-month, Yang Yen also discovered the gap between himself and other students. Other students only spend about 3 to 5 hours practicing meditation, while they can practice for about 10 hours themselves. Yang Yen is very happy about this because it represents that his current cultivation time is 2 or 3 times that of others. Especially when one specializes in poison, their growth rate is almost twice that of others. Unfortunately, as time passed, the meditation time of other classmates became longer and longer. In addition, Yang Yen could not achieve 24-hour uninterrupted cultivation, so the meditation time that Yang Yen and others wanted to miss was constantly shrinking. Perhaps in a few years, Yang Yen will have no advantage in terms of time for meditation. At night, Yang Yen looked at the poisonous and spatial stardust in his spiritual world, feeling a burst of surprise in his heart. At this point, the poisonous star dust has expanded slightly compared to when it first awakened, and 7 dark green poisonous star seeds are constantly floating in the dust, full of vitality. Of course, this was not something that surprised Yang Yen. What surprised Yang Yen was that his space system, stardust, and poison systems were on par, and he was also slightly larger than when he first awakened. In the past half-month, Yang Yen has not actually practiced spatial systems much, but the spatial system has expanded on its own. In fact, a few days ago, Yang Yen discovered the abnormality in his own spatial system, because every time Yang Yenming finished his cultivation, the poisonous stardust was actually slightly larger than the spatial system. Yang Yen is very certain about this. After all, in the first few days of cultivation, the changes in stardust are very obvious, basically the same every day. But every time Yang Yen meditates at night, he finds that the spatial stardust has become as big as the poisonous stardust, and the poisonous stardust has not shrunk much. After several days of research, Yang Yan finally determined one thing, which is that he has a very powerful talent. French synchronization, or French resonance. Specifically, one's two magic spells can resonate and synchronize with each other. If one magic spell progresses, the other magic spell will also keep up with its own pace and progress. Or, it can be said that magic spells with low cultivation levels will automatically synchronize their cultivation levels with those with high cultivation levels. In these days, after Yang Yan's previous practice of poison stardust, the space stardust has synchronized the cultivation progress of poison stardust. In order to study his own talents, Yang Yan specially practiced his space system last night. At that time, the space system Stardust was the same size as the poison system Stardust. After Yang Yanming practiced the space system Stardust was slightly larger than the poison system Stardust. Tonight, Yang Yan saw that his poison Stardust had also synchronized with the cultivation progress of the space Stardust, expanding slightly. What does this mean? It means that in the future, in terms of meditation, all you need to do is focus on cultivating one magic series, and other magic series will synchronize their cultivation levels with those of higher ones. Of course, this premise is that one's awakened magic system can also synchronize their cultivation with other magic systems in the future. Of course, Yang Yan is not sure to what extent this synchronous talent in the legal system can achieve, whether it can synchronize the progress of controlling stars, whether it can synchronize the level of strengthening stars, whether it can synchronize spirit seeds, soul seeds, and special substances. However, even if the synchronous talent of the legal system can only synchronize cultivation progress, Yang Yan has made a lot of money. After all, if one's cultivation is synchronized, the growth rate of one's own cultivation is several times that of peers. After all, other mages will need to arrange time to cultivate different magic departments when there are more, while Yang Yan only needs to focus on cultivating one magic department. Even for the time being, Yang Yan's two magic poison and space spells have increased their cultivation at twice the rate of other students. Yang Yan speculated that his talent should have been able to take effect only after he broke through the mid-level awakening of the second magic series, but it came into play early after he obtained the space series through Naring. Yang Yan looked at poison stardust and space stardust and pondered, including the money and inheritance from selling the house, I now have over 1 million in my hands. Should I rent an ordinary stardust magic tool? According to the information I have found, purchasing a stardust magic tool would cost around 5 to 6 million yuan. A newly made stardust magic tool can be used for about 3 to 5 years, and beyond this time, the spiritual energy in the stardust magic tool will be depleted. If you rent it, you can rent it for about half a year. As for the specific time, don't worry, it's a transitional product anyway, and the stardust magic tool can bring a 20% increase in cultivation speed to beginner mages. My cultivation speed, calculated by one magic series, is about 2 or 3 times that of others. If I use the stardust magic tool for 6 months, in the past 6 months, my cultivation speed may even reach 2.4 times that of those students who meditate for 5 hours a day, and for those students who meditate for 3 hours a day, my cultivation speed has even reached 4 times. So my 6-month cultivation progress is at least equivalent to about 1.5 years for an ordinary mage to cultivate. Note: in the early stages of the original work, the function of the Stardust magic tool was to accelerate spiritual recovery, allowing mages to spend 20% more time practicing, without enhancing the cultivation speed itself. However, later on, the function of the Stardust magic tool became to increase the cultivation speed by 20%, without the function of restoring spiritual power. This book mainly focuses on the latter. Note: both spirit and residual spirit are very rare things. Generally, a servant-level spirit costs about 5 million yuan, chapter 54 of the original work, a warrior-level spirit costs about 20 million yuan, chapter 202 of the original work, and a commander-level spirit costs about 500 million yuan, chapter 1287 of the original work. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Purchasing Stardust Magic Tools. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Purchasing Stardust Magic Tools. After thinking for a moment, Yang Yan finally decided on his own idea and rented the Stardust magic weapon. The saying goes, step by step fast, step by step slow. The original work, Mo Fan, began to specialize in thunder magic after awakening. Mo Fan's initial meditation time was also about 10 hours. Later, it took him about 5 months to release thunder magic. If one can use the Stardust magic tool to cultivate, perhaps they can release poisonous magic after about 4 months of cultivation. There will be about half a year left until the final assessment of the second semester of high school. In the second half of his senior year, Mo Fan mastered the first level of fire magic, while if he specialized in poison magic, he was likely to have mastered the second level of first level poison magic at that time. Generally, second level magic is much stronger than first level magic. Of course, the first level magic of poison mages is quite unique. The power of poison mages' first level magic is basically not affected by their realm, but rather by their own toxins. Human beings themselves are not the race that drives toxins. Even if the poison mage awakens the poison Stardust and possesses basic toxins, the power of these basic toxins is not strong. Currently, Yang Yan's basic toxins cannot even poison a mouse to death. Although the basic toxin will be strengthened after the breakthrough of the poison mage's cultivation, the enhancement of the basic toxin is limited. I can't say for sure that poison level 3 magic is not as powerful as fire level 1 magic. But if the poison system is willing to invest and refine into its own poison system, it is possible that the first level magic of the poison system may be even more terrifying than the middle level magic. Okay, we're going too far. After deciding to rent the Stardust magic weapon, Yang Yan stopped thinking and began to meditate. Let's wait until tomorrow to discuss the matter of renting the Stardust demon weapon. It's time for meditation now. The next morning, after finishing class, Yang Yan walked directly towards the principal's office. After arriving outside the principal's office, Yang Yan knocked directly on the door. Come in. A sound came from the office, and upon hearing permission, Yang Yan opened the door and entered the office directly. The office is very simple, there is only a data cabinet, a set of office chairs, and a set of sofa tables. At this moment, Principal Zhu was sitting on a chair behind his desk. This is not the first time Yang Yan has met Principal Zhu. This principal has a high reputation in the hearts of students and parents, although he usually does not take care of things automatically and has a semi-reclusive connotation. Of course, when something big happens, such as the unified awakening magic of school students, he will still come out to preside over it. Principal Zhu looked at Yang Yan, who walked in and said with a smile, "Are you Yang Yan, the student from the Awakening Poison Department?" Yang Yan responded, "Principal, I am Yang Yan." Principal Zhu looked at Yang Yan and nodded in satisfaction, saying, "Not bad, it seems you haven't been much influenced by the Poison Department." Generally speaking, students who awaken to the Poison Department in Magic High School will be disliked by some students, so those students are easily out of sync and can easily go astray. I'm glad to see that you haven't been affected by anything. Yang Yan gratefully responded to Principal Zhu's words and said, "Thanks to the school, the classmates in the class did not treat me differently because I had awakened to the poison system under the guidance of the teacher." Principal Zhu was also very happy when he heard Yang Yan's words. Now that he is old, it is a great thing for him that the students in the school have grown up healthy and have not gone astray. Later, Principal Zhu asked, "Yang Yan, what's up with you coming to me? Did you encounter any trouble?" "Principal Zhu, do you have any spare Stardust magic tools at school? If so, I plan to rent one." Renting Stardust magic tools at school is more reassuring, Yang Yan responded directly. Principal Zhu listened to Yang Yan's words and looked at him. Based on his decades of life experience, he confirmed that Yang Yen had no ulterior motives and really planned to rent the Stardust magic weapon. Principal Zhu shook his head and responded. I've disappointed you, but in fact, the school's Stardust magic tools have always been limited. Our school's Stardust magic tools have always been arranged for high school students to use. If you have good magic cultivation, the school will also arrange for Stardust magic tools to be used by you after you enter the second year of high school. But if you really want to rent Stardust magic tools now, you can go to the Magic Association to see. The Magic Association is trustworthy. As for those magic tool stores and magic stores, don't go there. I'm afraid you'll lose out. After hearing Principal Zhu's words, Yang Yen was not disappointed either. Yang Yen had anticipated that the school had no extra Stardust magic tools, but he still came to try them out. After all, compared to other places, schools are definitely more trustworthy. At this moment, Principal Zhu suddenly said, by the way, Yang Yen, I know a wizard who has a Stardust magic tool with limited energy in his hand. The energy of that Stardust magic tool can support the wizard's use for about 4 to 5 months. Now that Stardust magic weapon is of no use to him. If you are willing to rent it, I can help you contact it. Of course, if you have some assets, you can buy it directly. Upon hearing this, Yang Yen immediately became interested. Although the cultivation benefits brought by using Stardust magic tools with limited energy may be lower, the rental price of these Stardust magic tools is relatively cheaper. Yang Yen pondered for a moment and said, Principal, how much would it cost to buy that Stardust magic tool? Principal Zhu responded, if you want to buy it, I can talk to him and ask you to spend 500,000 yuan to buy it. If you rent a Stardust magic weapon with sufficient energy, 500,000 yuan can only be rented for about 3 months. Buying a Stardust magic weapon with 500,000 yuan that can still be used for 4 or 5 months is not a loss. Then please trouble Principal. At this moment, Yang Yen clearly felt Principal Zhu's kindness. According to Yang Yan's understanding, although the Stardust magic with insufficient energy is indeed relatively cheaper, buying the Stardust magic mentioned by Principal Zhu would definitely cost more than 500,000 yuan. In fact, compared to others, Yang Yen prefers to rent Stardust magic tools. But my meditation time is about 2 or 3 times that of an ordinary student, so when I use the Stardust magic, my energy consumption is definitely 2 or 3 times that. If I rent it at a normal price, what should I do if someone discovers any abnormalities in the Stardust magic? In the evening, Yang Yen returned to his dormitory with a box. After closing the doors and windows, Yang Yen sat on the bed and opened the box. Inside the box was a blue dust stone wearing a white chain. This special necklace is the Stardust magic weapon that Yang Yen spent 500,000 yuan to buy. Then Yang Yen took a few deep breaths and carefully put the Stardust magic tool around his neck, letting it hang in front of his chest. Then Yang Yen delved into the Stardust magic tool and left a spiritual imprint on it. Mind is generated by the strong spiritual power of a magician. Focusing on a specific area can not only detect abnormal fluctuations and magical energy fluctuations, but also make the overall auditory, olfactory, visual, and skin senses stronger than ordinary people. This is copied from the original work. After leaving a spiritual imprint on his Stardust magic weapon, Yang Yen closed his eyes and began to meditate on the poison series. As Yang Yen began to meditate, he felt a subtle energy released by the Stardust magic tool towards his poison Stardust, briefly adding a blessing to his poison Stardust. Under this blessing, the speed at which poisonous Stardust absorbs and transforms external magic energy is significantly faster. At the same time, Yang Yen felt that with the blessing of the Stardust magic tool, his heart began to calm down, and the annoyance accumulated by daily cultivation seemed to disappear. End of this chapter. 7. Chapter 7. Controlling Starry Stars. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Control of Starry Suns. Late at night, Yang Yan felt mentally exhausted and opened his eyes, then exhaled a mouthful of air with exhaust fumes. Subsequently, Yang Yan's eyes filled with joy as he thought, Principal Zhu is really a good person. This Stardust magic tool has brought him nearly 20% of cultivation blessings. Although he has not used any other Stardust magic tools, this Stardust magic tool should not be lacking in anything. And my cultivation time is 2 or 3 times that of others. Including the Stardust magic weapon, my cultivation speed is faster than others. Unfortunately, the spiritual energy inside this Stardust magic weapon is limited, and it can support an ordinary mage for 4 to 5 months. My cultivation time is 2 or 3 times that of others, so it would be great if this Stardust magic weapon can support me for 2 to 3 months now. Unless I am able to collect essence and residual spirit, and let the undead mage inject energy again, otherwise this Stardust magic weapon will be useless. Thinking of this, Yang Yan showed a look of envy. Mo Fan's luck was so good that he actually had a green dragon totem vessel that also served as a Stardust magic weapon on his body. After absorbing the Earth Holy Spring, the future Qinglong totem vessels can bring twice the cultivation blessings to Mo Fan, and also automatically hang up the machine for Mo Fan. Quickly, Yang Yan let out a sigh and then stopped thinking about it. As for taking away Mo Fan's Qinglong totem vessels, Yang Yan had no such idea. Leaving aside the fact that the Qinglong totem vessels were bound to Mo Fan, taking them away would be of no use. Besides, Mo Fan is a very good person, and being friends with him gives him a sense of security. Yang Yan also doesn't want to take action against Mo Fan. A month later, it had been a month and a half since Yang Yan, a student of this generation, awakened to magic. Yang Yanpan sat on the bed, his consciousness already entering the spiritual world. Yang Yan looked at the poisonous and spatial stardust that had grown to a certain extent in his spiritual world and pondered in his heart, with the intensity of the current stardust, I should be able to control the stars. Controlling the stars is the second step in releasing magic, and the operation sounds very simple. Under normal circumstances, each person's magical stardust contains 7 randomly floating stars, and the mage controls the stars by manipulating them with his mind to make them appear as he needs. For beginner mages, magic is a vast expanse of stardust, with 7 stars within it. Only by arranging the 7 stars into a single orbit can beginner mages release magic. Of course, it is easy to say, but also difficult to do, and there are 2 difficulties. One thing is that controlling the stars can consume a lot of mental energy. For ordinary students, they may be able to meditate for 5 hours, but controlling the stars for 1 hour would be good. At the beginning, Mo Fan controlled the stars for at most 2 hours a day. The second point is the difficulty in controlling the stars. Although the 7 stars of the same magic system belong to the same magic dust, they are independent individuals. In the early stages, it was impossible for a mage to control all 7 stars with one mind. Controlling the stars is like placing a domino card. When placing stars, no one can make a mistake, otherwise all previous efforts will be wasted. After making a decision, Yang Yan began to look at the 7 randomly wandering stars in the poisonous star dust, and then used his mind to control one of these 7 stars, which was relatively quiet and not noisy. Under the control of Yang Yan's thoughts, the star obediently stopped. It doesn't seem very difficult. Yang Yan looked at this scene and said to himself. Subsequently, Yang Yan chose another star and then developed a desire to control it. Under the control of Yang Yan's thoughts, the star suddenly quieted down and was obediently placed near the first controlled star by Yang Yan. Then, when Yang Yan separated his third thought to control the third lesson star, the first and second stars suddenly broke free from Yang Yan's control and began to wander irregularly in the dust. Seeing this scene, Yang Yan frowned. When I was controlling the third star just now, my attention was mostly focused on it, and my control over the first and second stars weakened, causing them to break free from my control. So what I need to do is to control the multiple thoughts that I share. Another month and a half passed quickly. The class starts at 8 o'clock sharp, and the first class is the demon class. The teacher in charge of teaching the demon class is Zhang Jianguo, the homeroom teacher of the neighboring class. Mo Fan, why are you late again? Can't you have a more upright attitude? You are not as talented as the vast majority of your classmates, and your foundation is particularly poor, and you are not studying so seriously. Zhang Jianguo scolded Mo Fan as soon as he saw that he was late. Take a look at Su Zhaoting in our class. He has awakened to the thunder type, is talented, has a good foundation, and has a good attitude towards learning magic. Now he can control 4 thunder type stars. Take a look at Yang Yan and Mu Bai, and they can also control 4 thunder type stars. And as for you, I heard that you, the fire star, still cannot control it. The awakening of the fire star will be wasted on you. Mo Fan couldn't help but roll his eyes. Teacher Zhang Jianguo never stops mentioning that guy from the thunder department in almost every class. Although I mentioned Green Tea Man, Mu Bai, and Old Yang Yan, Mo Fan's nickname for Yang Yan, by the way this time, it was not just to undermine myself. Isn't it just controlling the 4 stars? I'm just one last step away from controlling the 6th thunder type star. Mo Fan secretly disdained it, but didn't say anything, just walked leisurely to his seat. At this moment, Yang Yan couldn't help feeling a bit speechless when he saw this scene. Mo Fan doesn't practice controlling the fire type displayed externally at all, but instead cultivates the hidden thunder type first. Isn't this seeking criticism? Well, now Mo Fan has control over several Thunder series stars. In his past life, he only read novels roughly a few times without paying attention to the specific details. At this moment, Yang Yan pondered in his heart. However, I remember that when this semester is off, Mo Fan will be able to release the Thunder-type basic magic. Now, Mo Fan should have controlled 5 or 6 stars. Speaking of which, although I have shown to the public that I have controlled 4 stars, I am not far from controlling the 7th star. I am sure that I can connect the 7 stars into a star orbit within the next week. When the time comes, I can release the first level magic poison extract of the poison series. Poison Needle. At the same time, I can also purchase some suitable poison resources to improve my cultivation and strengthen toxins. Note that the original work did not fully describe poison magic. The poison magic on Baidu is all made up by others, and I have made some changes to it. Quickly, the teacher's lecture voice pulled back Yang Yan's thoughts of not knowing where to fly. Alright, everyone, open the Book of Demons. Today, I will continue to tell you about common demons. As we all know, demons are distributed outside the cities where we humans inhabit, and they have absolute aggression against humans. They wander around and fight against each other. So once a magician sets foot in the wilderness and encounters a one-eyed demon wolf, what should they do? Zhang Jianguo has already begun to explain the course with great excitement. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Poison Extract Poison Needle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Poison Extract. Poison Needle One-Eyed Demon Wolf. This is a servant-level demon that inhabits the wilderness area closest to human cities. The one-eyed demon wolf is different from other wolf-like demons. It is not on all fours, but in a semi-upright state like a human wolf, with an adult body that is 3 to 4 meters tall. In addition, as the name suggests, the one-eyed demon wolf only has one eye on its head. In terms of temperament, Cyclops has a natural hostility towards humans, and even enjoys using humans as food. Enjoying slaughter, greed, and cruelty, they are eyeing anyone who dares to leave human habitation. Listening to the teacher's explanation, Yang Yan suddenly remembered that after Mo Fan joined the city demon hunting team, he had encountered an advanced one-eyed demon wolf, which seemed to have stolen the holy spring. Unfortunately, it seems that this has nothing to do with oneself. Of course, if you have the strength, time, and chance to encounter it, you can go hunt down that one-eyed demon wolf. Most demons with flesh and blood possess a demon gallbladder, which is a special internal organ. Generally, the gallbladder of any demon has value, and some demons store special substances inside, such as substances used to detoxify the body, energy that has not yet been refined. If you're lucky, perhaps you can extract a little bit of the earth holy spring that hasn't been fully digested from the demon gallbladder of that one-eyed demon wolf. If you don't have the strength, it's okay. After all, people need to have self-awareness. If you don't have the strength, then you have the courage to deal with demons. That's called foolishness. After all, if you don't have the strength, where are you going? Isn't that a hindrance for other mages? A few days later, in the evening, Yang Yan's consciousness is currently in the spiritual world. At this moment, among the poisonous stardust, 6 stars were placed in an incomplete orbit under Yang Yan's control, while the 7th star trembled and flew towards the missing position of this orbit under Yang Yan's control. It can be seen that Yang Yan's control over this 7th star is very weak at this time. Quickly, this star was placed by Yang Yan in the star formation, and suddenly 7 dark green poisonous stars formed a dark green poisonous star orbit. At this moment, Yang Yan, who was sitting on the bed outside, suddenly opened his eyes, and a dark green star track appeared in front of him. Then, poisonous demons in the star dust could flow out through the star track. Then in an instant, the dark green light flickered, and Yang Yan had an extra dark green needle in front of him. Of course, it's a needle. This needle is more like a strangely shaped nail. This needle is over 10 centimeters long, 2 to 3 millimeters thick, and has a dark green color throughout. Looking at the needle in front of him, Yang Yan felt a little excited, and before he could control it, the poisonous needle disintegrated into a dark green mist. And Yang Yan's face was also flushed with mist. The mist dissipated, and at this moment, Yang Yan's face was clearly a bit green. Yang Yan suddenly coughed a few times and felt uncomfortable, thinking, I was careless. Fortunately, I am a poison mage and have some resistance to toxins. At the same time, I am still poisoned by my own poison, and I have not strengthened my toxin, otherwise it would be dangerous. Subsequently, Yang Yan manipulated the poisonous stardust in the spiritual world to absorb the toxins in his body. At the end of the day, Yang Yan's toxins are transformed by his own poisonous magic. Yang Yan has a high resistance to his own toxins, and at the same time, he is able to manipulate the star sun to retrieve his toxins to a certain extent. Soon, the green color on Yang Yan's face disappeared and returned to normal. The needle that Yang Yan gathered just now is the first-level magical poison extract of the poison series. Poison Needle. The specific effect is to condense the magical energy containing toxins into a poison needle to attack enemies, poisoning them. The effect depends on the function of the toxin in the condensed poison needle. However, at present, Yang Yan has not refined any other toxins or injected any toxic substances into the poison star dust. Currently, Yang Yan's poison star dust only has basic toxins. This basic toxin only has the effect of making people dizzy and weak. Of course, if the toxin is high, it can also make people unconscious and die. After all, eating too much food can still hold them to death. At this moment, Yang Yan was excited and thought to himself, although there was an accident just now, I still managed to release the magic. Starting from the awakening magic, it doesn't take me 3.5 months to release it now. It seems that Mo Fan's first release of magic was after vacation, which is 5 months. The next thing I need to do, besides meditation, is to shorten the time it takes to control the connection between the stars' orbits. Additionally, I am now able to cast magic and it's time to purchase some poison resources. Poison mages have a special skill, which is extraction and refinement. Extracting specifically refers to the ability of a poison mage to manipulate magic to extract toxins from certain items after being able to release magic energy. And that's why poison mages are suitable for becoming potion masters. After all, poison mages can extract toxins from items. And this toxin is not just referring to toxicity. The saying goes that poison is not separate. Poison and medicine are to some extent the same thing, but their characteristics are slightly different. But for some people, good medicine may be highly toxic, and highly toxic drugs can also be good medicine. The so-called honey of you and arsenic of others are like this. Of course, most poison-type mages tend to use toxins that harm and kill people, rather than drugs that treat illnesses and save lives. Treating diseases and saving people is the responsibility of healing mages. Isn't it strange for poison mages to save people? Refining is the process by which a poison-type mage can refine toxins into their own poison-type Stardust, enhancing their own toxins or increasing toxins they do not have. This containment is different from the elemental magic series refining elemental species, as elemental species are special energy bodies that condense magical energy. And poison magic can refine some physical toxins, such as the toxins possessed by poisonous demons. The combat ability of poison mages is greatly affected by toxins. If poison mages have not refined and strengthened toxins for themselves, it is impossible for a mid-level poison magic to poison a servant-level demon. But if a poison mage is willing to purchase poison and strengthen their own toxins, it is not possible that even a beginner-level poison magic can poison a war general-level demon. Of course, if a beginner-level poison mage refines the toxins of an imperial-level demon with toxins, and successfully survives, one of his poison-level beginner-level spells may be able to kill a monarch-level demon. After Yang Yen collected all the toxins in his body, he pondered inwardly, based on my understanding, I know that the fruits or juices of some poisonous plant-type demons can enhance the cultivation and toxicity of poisonous mages, such as the poisonous vine berries of the poisonous snake demon vine. In addition, there are also some body materials of poisonous demons that have similar functions, such as the venomous glands and fangs of the black-striped poisonous snake. In addition, there are also extracted toxins that I can purchase directly, but the price would be higher, and I don't have much assets. Well, when I can proficiently release magic, I can go to the magic store to purchase some resources. By the way, I only have a few 100,000 now, and that money is not enough to spend. In addition, my Stardust magic tool has very little energy left, and I'm not sure if it will be discontinued in the next few days. I should also think about how to make money. Thinking of this, Yang Yen recalled his memories and pondered. Is it possible to become a hunter like Mo Fan in the original work? It seems feasible, but not at the moment. There are too few poisonous mages in Bo City, and I can't hide my identity even if I want to become a hunter now. A mage who can release magic after awakening magic for more than 3 months is too eye-catching. Besides, my strength is too low. Not to mention hunting demons for missions, I can't even protect myself. Well, I'm toxic, so I could try becoming a pharmacist and selling potions for money. However, the advanced potion formulas are all in the hands of big powers, and the most I can get after being exposed to them is some basic knowledge of pharmacists and some basic formulas. Although it's enough for my current self, can I make money after using up the hundreds of thousands in my hand? And I also have to purchase some poison resources, so the money for learning how to make potions is even less. Forget it, take a closer look, let's wait until I can proficiently release the magic. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Campus 3-Person Group. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Campus 3-Person Group. The semester came to an end soon, and all the students in the school left the school separately. Yang Yen stood on the empty rooftop of the dormitory building, watching the students leaving the college with suitcases and backpacks, feeling a sense of loneliness unconsciously in his heart. They all went home, but it seems like I don't have any home left. Yang Yan's parents have long been gone, and his hometown has also been sold by Yang Yen. Of course, Yang Yen did not regret selling the house. After all, Yang Yanping used to live in school, and there were no people waiting for him to return home. There was also nothing worth commemorating at home. After a while, Yang Yen sighed and muttered to himself, although the school didn't say that students couldn't stay at school during holidays, it seems a bit inappropriate for one student to live at school. I'd better find a place to rent for a month. Anyway, renting a house for one person to live in doesn't cost much money. Although hundreds of thousands are not a big deal for a mage, not to mention renting a house in Bo City, buying a house is enough. At this moment, Mo Fan and Zhang Xiaoho also walked up to the top of the dormitory building. Mo Fan walked up and wrapped his arm around Yang Yan's shoulder, then said heartlessly, "Lao Yang, what are you doing? I saw you sunbathing here with the monkey from a long distance, saying, why don't you go home?" At this moment, Zhang Xiaoho suddenly said, "Brother Yan, are you waiting for someone here?" Upon hearing this, Mo Fan immediately became interested and asked, "Yanzi, isn't the person you're waiting for a certain girl? I don't usually see it, you're quite sulky." "Well, what are you thinking?" "I'm thinking about whether to stay at school or rent a house during the vacation," Yang Yan said with a black line on his head. Without further explanation, Mo Fan's brain circuit didn't know what else Mo Fan would say. Mo Fan said in confusion, "Why don't you go home?" "Sold." "Oh, sorry." Mo Fan suddenly fell silent for a moment, while retracting his arm around Yang Yan's shoulder. Then Mo Fan suddenly thought of the situation at home. His father had already sold the house, and he was basically homeless. Dad Mo Jiaxing is mostly still driving and usually sleeps in the car. Ye Xinxia lives at her aunt's house and has nowhere to go. Mo Fan suddenly said, "Forget it, my home has also been sold. I'll stay at school with you. But today I need to go out of school to see my sister." At this moment, Zhang Xiaoho realized and said, "Ah, both of your homes have been sold. Why don't you come and stay at my house? Anyway, I'm the only one in my house. Of course, it's okay for me to live at school with you, anyway, it's not interesting for me to be at home alone." After listening to Zhang Xiaoho's words, Yang Yan suddenly remembered that Zhang Xiaoho seemed to be an orphan too. In the end, Yang Yan and Mo Fan decided to live at school together. Yang Yan and Mo Fan had no home, while Zhang Xiaoho stayed to accompany Mo Fan and Yang Yan. At this moment, Mo Fan suddenly said, "All right, I'm planning to go see my sister today. Do you two want to come together?" Zhang Xiaoho responded, "Let's go together. I haven't seen my heart in almost half a year." Yang Yan nodded in response, "Let's go together." Yang Yan had never seen Ye Xinxia, but of course, he still knew about her through the original work. Speaking of which, Ye Xinxia is not an ordinary person either. She has the spirit of the Parthenon within her body and later became the goddess of the Parthenon temple. Quickly, Yang Yan and the others got on a bus and left the school. On the bus, while chatting with Yang Yan and Zhang Xiaoho, Mo Fan suddenly said, "You guys talk first, I'll practice controlling." Zhang Xiaoho exclaimed in surprise, "Brother Fan, you're really amazing. You're actually practicing control on the bus. But you really need to work hard, after all, you're not a fire star yet." Mo Fan was a bit speechless after hearing Zhang Xiaoho's words, but he didn't say anything and began to close his eyes and take control. Yang Yan was a bit speechless about this scene. It seems that Mo Fan, the original work, successfully controlled the 7 stars and released magic for the first time on a bus. Well, when Mo Fan reached the second level of the first level of fire cultivation, it seems that he was also on a bus. After more than 10 minutes, Zizizi, on Mo Fan's right hand, the purple lightning was like a python winding around his arm, and the power of the purple lightning imprint was stored in Mo Fan's hand. Oh my goodness! Magician, it's a magician. It's still a thunder-type mage. Ah, I feel numb all over. Damn it, how did Brother Fan release magic? No, it's thunder magic, how could it be? The bus was filled with screams of amazement, as the elderly woman who had just finished shopping, the old man who had finished exercising and returned home, the girl who lowered her head to play with her phone, and the pervert who was molesting her phone with one hand all looked at Mo Fan in shock at the back seat. Great. Great mage, I won't dare next time, I won't dare next time, please let me go, I don't know anything about it. Suddenly, the middle-aged thin man who molested the girl fell on his knees, crying and sniveling to Mo Fan for mercy. The middle-aged pervert thought that the young wizard was only angered by his lewd behavior and activated the power of thunder. I'll spare your dog's life. If I see you again next time, I'll just waste your hands. Mo Fan stood up suddenly, looking down at the lecherous wolf with a majestic expression. Yes, yes, absolutely not next time, absolutely not next time. After saying that, the pervert had already climbed out of the car as the driver stopped. The surrounding aunties and gentlemen immediately praised him, and several teenagers who were obviously only junior high school students even cast admiring gazes at Mo Fan. At this moment, Mo Fan frowned and said to Yang Yan and the shocked Zhang Xiaoho, "How are you? Are you handsome?" Zhang Xiaoho said in shock, "Brother Fan, how did you release thunder magic?" At this moment, Yang Yan said, "Marquis, we'll talk about this matter when we get off the car. Don't worry, there's nothing wrong, don't daydream." Mo Fan suddenly regained his senses and nodded, saying, "Ah, yes, yes, we'll talk about this matter when we get off the car." On the following journey, Mo Fan couldn't help but smile, while Zhang Xiaoho looked puzzled and shocked. At the same time, he occasionally looked at Yang Yan and Mo Fan, thinking to himself whether they were ghosts. After getting off the car, Yang Yan and the others walked towards Mingwen Middle School. Mingwen Middle School is a women's high school, belonging to a private high school, which gathers the most tender and fashionable girls in the entire Bo City. Unlike other high schools, there is no lifeless education in magic theory here, nor is there a group of magic nerds who only know exams. These girls, who already have some family background in magic, know much more than the magic students who have come out of 9-year compulsory magic education. For example, some magical accessories with magical power often hang on their chests. Compared with the second generation of demons and the second generation of FA who were born with magical weapons that can warm up their mental strength, Mo Fan, a ground beetle, naturally had to climb step by step. Yang Yan is naturally a ground beetle, at most a knowledgeable and talented ground beetle. End of this chapter. 10, Chapter 10 Ye Xinxia. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Ye Xinxia. The alleys around the campus are crowded with luxury cars, during the peak period of school. Mo Fan is very aware of Ye Xinxia's temper. She will bypass these girls who compete with sedan-level cars and walk on her own alleyway, smelling the fragrance of the small green bamboo planted by the residents on the windowsill. Mo Fan took Yang Yan and Zhang Xiaoho to bypass the main entrance, intending to block the alleyway. Wait for the neighboring sister Ye Xinxia. There were not many people walking along the alleyway, so Mo Fan walked through someone else's yard and walked into this familiar alleyway. The world has changed, but this familiar city has not changed at all, and the small green bamboo that has survived the winter is still placed by the windows of the residents. I guess Ye Xinxia hasn't changed either. Mo Fan was pondering. Mo Fan stood in the middle of the alley, with his back against the wall, like a little hooligan waiting for an opportunity to extort game coins from a passing elementary school student. His eyes occasionally glanced at the entrance of the alley, thinking to surprise the girl who was about to walk here. However, for a long time, that beautiful figure did not appear. And Yang Yan and Zhang Xiaoho also learned from Mo Fan by leaning against the wall, not to mention, at least it was more labor-saving than standing. Zhang Xiaoho finally couldn't help but ask Mo Fan, "Brother Fan, what's wrong with your lay style?" At this moment, Mo Fan said solemnly, "It's nothing, it's just my talent." At first, when I awakened magic, I awakened two factions, first the Thunder faction, and then the Fire faction. At that time, except for Lao Yang, everyone went to pay attention to that student named Su Zhaoting, so naturally they didn't notice that I had awakened the lay department. Oh, no, Brother Fan, you have only been practicing for about 5 months. I remember that the most talented little princess in Bucheng, Ye Xinxia, also practiced for 8 months before she could release magic. Zhang Xiaohou followed closely. Of course, it's not that Zhang Xiaohou doesn't believe Mo Fan, it's just that he's not at ease. Mo Fan was a bit dumbfounded upon hearing this. 8 months. What kind of person is Ye Xinxia? The only one in the entire Bo City who was directly admitted to the Imperial Academy, is also the apple of the eye of all the Mu family members in Bo City. From a young age, he has been influenced by the strong magical heritage of the entire Bo City Mu family and possesses cultivation resources that ordinary magicians cannot obtain in their lifetime. And the reason why she was praised by the stars is also closely related to her amazing magical talent. Even a proud woman like her took 8 months to awaken and release her first-level magic. What about her own 5-month journey? I made a fool of myself. I made a fool of myself. Mo Fan felt his heart churning violently. If Ye Xinxia has already shocked the world and been called a talented person by people in the past 8 months, wouldn't he have gone against the sky in these 5 months? Alas, Yang Yan said at this moment, it's nothing. Didn't Mo Fan awaken 2 factions? The mage's awakening of the magic faction is related to the mage's soul strength. Mo Fan's awakening of the 2 series indicates that Mo Fan's soul strength is almost twice that of an ordinary mage, which means that Mo Fan had twice as much time for meditation and control as an ordinary mage from the beginning. So it seems that Mo Fan practiced for 5 months, but in reality, Mo Fan's time spent practicing may be equivalent to an ordinary mage practicing for 10 months. After hearing Yang Yan's explanation, Zhang Xiaohou made a "oh" sound to express his understanding. And Mo Fan also nodded silently. It turned out that was the case. After a while, Ye Xinxia hasn't come yet. Suddenly, Yang Yan and Mo Fan heard some noisy sounds coming from the direction of the alley leading to the small mountain. Follow me, Mo Fan suddenly said and ran towards the direction of the small mountain. Yang Yan and Zhang Xiaohou quickly followed suit. As soon as I ran out of the small alley, the position facing the hill suddenly became clear. There is a small lawn under the hill, arranged in the shape of a small park. Near the wind, there is a wooden swing wrapped around some winter vines. The swing hangs straight without any shaking. Sitting on the still swing was a young girl with long black waterfall hair. The winter wind was stirring her hair, revealing a beautiful, fair and full profile. Her long eyelashes, delicate nose bridge, and rosy lips were all on display. She gazed ahead, quiet as a delicate lotus that had merged into this winter swing painting, desolate yet blooming, her unique temperament and fragrance alone. Mo Fan's steps suddenly stopped, and he didn't know when he liked to watch her quietly like this. Watching her sit quietly somewhere, a warm current inexplicably surged in his heart, flowing to the bottom of his heart, and then involuntarily raised the corner of his mouth. However, for a moment, Mo Fan felt something was wrong, and at that moment Yang Yan and Zhang Xiaohou ran over. At this moment, Mo Fan's eyebrows furrowed and he quickly walked towards the elegant young girl sitting on the swing. The girl also felt someone approaching. When she saw Mo Fan's face clearly, there was no surprise on her face. She just smiled politely, as if she knew the person would come while she was just waiting for him. "Brother Mofan," the girl sweetly called out. "That kind of dog thing again, isn't it?" Mo Fan walked up, with a faint anger on his face. Xinxia didn't speak. "I must deal with them hard today, a group of scumbags." Mo Fan's anger surged as he looked at the stairs on the hill. "There are many of them, forget it." Ye Xinxia shook her head, trying to persuade Mo Fan to suppress her emotions. "It's impossible to just calculate like this. I'm not finished with this group of scumbags." Mo Fan said no more and climbed up the stairs. At this moment, Yang Yan quickly said, "Xiao Ho, let's go together." After finishing speaking, Yang Yan followed Mo Fan and Zhang Xiaohou quickly followed suit. Sitting on the swing, Ye Xinxia wanted to hold on to Mo Fan, but Mo Fan had already walked towards the mountain in anger. Xinxia knew about Mo Fan's temper. She had been constantly fighting with the local hooligans and thugs because of her own affairs for a long time. Every time, she would fight several times alone, with injuries all over her body. This was the last thing she wanted to see. The people who are causing trouble for themselves this time are not just some small hooligans and thugs. They specialize in being thugs for the wealthy young girls nearby, trampling on anyone who doesn't like them. There will be at least 5 people on their side this time, 2 of whom are physically strong and much larger than Mo Fan. If Mo Fan goes to find them, he will definitely be beaten up and bruised. Fortunately, Mo Fan has 2 helpers this time. Speaking of which, it seems that the person is Zhang Xiaoho, and who is the other person? Is it Mo Fan's new younger brother? If Yang Yan knew Ye Xinxia's thoughts at this time, he would be very speechless. Do I look like someone else's little brother like this? Can't I be the big brother? On the small hall of the hill, there were 5 delinquent youths sitting here playing cards, and the table for playing cards was a wheelchair. Then Mo Fan and the 3 of them ran up one after another. After seeing Mo Fan and the other 5 delinquent youths stood up one after another, and then one delinquent youth took off his down jacket, revealing his white vest, and his exaggerated muscles burst out. Mo Fan stared at these 5 miscellaneous people with the same animal-like gaze. At this moment, Yang Yan looked at these 5 people with a look of garbage, and Zhang Xiaoho also had an angry expression on his face. End of this chapter.